Want to welcome everybody to this training this morning. It's good to have you around. We feel very honored to have you around. Thank you very much. We'll go straight to the business of the day. So this morning we want to have a short talk about 1.5 hours, and then after that we can take some questions and reactions on a topic titled "How to Build a Successful Data Science for Business Career." We are going to be starting like this. This is the introduction. We have this is the outline. Sorry, we have introduction, then why data science in business, successful data science career, then data science career in business, a successful one, how to go about it, and then we look at lessons learned from some data scientists, including myself, and we conclude. And straight to the next. Yeah, straight to the introduction. Well, it's good to have for us to have a solid foundation of what exactly data science is, so that it will be easy for us to just fix in the puzzle as we go along. So data science basically has to do with extracting knowledge or information from data. And of course, it's a continuation of the field of data mining. As a data scientist, these are some of the things that you might be involved with as regards data. So you want to be able to take data and understand it, process it, extract value from it, visualize that data, and also be able to communicate whatever you have discovered from analyzing that data to the stakeholders. Now, when we say data science for business, what we're actually saying in essence is business analytics. So formally, we can define that as the act of bringing quantitative data to bear in decision making. So why data science? Why data science in business particularly? Because we want to actually zero it down to business right now. So why data science? First of all, it's not a news that there is a data explosion. So, and this graph tells it all. So I'm going to be using my mouse a lot to make some illustrations. So this graph says it all. For example, if you look at this now, we will see that it's projected that in 2025, for example, we are going to be having like 175 zettabytes of data, and that's just a projection. It's possible that it's actually even much more than that. So what we are saying is that there's a data explosion, and it keeps on exploding because of some reasons. For example, we have the kind of technology that is being used now, the Internet of Things, we have our social media platforms, and so on and so forth. And another thing that is also making it easy for data to explode is that we don't have limitations as regards hardware storage, data storage right now, because there's a lot of space in the cloud. So hardware is not an issue. So we can actually just have situations whereby data just keeps increasing and so on. So, but another very interesting thing about this data that is increasing that we are talking about is that 90% of it is actually going to be unstructured, or even currently is already unstructured, and it's just keeps on increasing like that. So what we are saying is that we have situations whereby people just upload whatever they are chatting, whatever video, whatever pictures and all that, and it just keeps going on and on like that. And even in the industries right now, due to the COVID, for example, we have a lot of virtual things going on. People are not meeting anymore physically, it's just online, and these things are data. So it's just exploding every day. So we continue with our why data science. We've talked about why are people actually interested in data? Why is it a buzzword everywhere? We've talked about that. Now let's see why data science in business. Okay, so why data science in business? If you have any chats, if you have any questions or comments, you can just send it as a chat. At the end of the talk, we'll have like few minutes to be able to respond to it. So you can just be compiling your questions, or if you like, you can put it in the chat, but I'll respond to it after the talk. So why data science in business? Globally, if you look at it, okay, in form of US dollars, for example, it's projected that by 2022, that's just 2 years time, where the business value in data. That's the value of business analytics market, for example, is going to be like $10.95 billion, and that's a lot. So, and of course, that's a projection. It's even possible that is much more than that. So, and that's like, okay, that's globally. Now, let's talk about Nigeria. In Nigeria, for example, Nigeria is in a move to becoming a major outsourcing hub for international data science, advanced analytics, and big data projects. Okay, and so that's and so that there's a direction, there's a thinking in that direction, there are plans in that direction to actually maximize, the act of making revenue from data analytics. So those are the things that tells you that there is a prospect, for data science in business, and why you should also be interested in looking in that direction. So, let's continue our journey on why data science in business, for example. The truth is that every business needs a form of data understanding. So the degree might now be different, but you need to be able to maximize the richness of data. Let's imagine, for example, that businesses can predict failure before that failure actually happens. Imagine that they can predict the event of a particular event, the effect, of a particular event on their business. Take COVID, for example. And because of that, they are able to prepare adequately for that, put measures in place to handle situations like that. Let's say that, let's imagine that businesses can predict what customers are going to buy even before they budget for it, or they even think about it, that they need it, and so on and so forth. And then you are now able to strategically position yourself as a business to be able to take care of all those kind of things. You'll be making much more profit than your counterpart. Then let's imagine that you can know the exact steps to take to turn your fortune around through analyzing data. Let's also imagine that you can be able to know out of vast or majority of prospects for your business. You can actually be able to know just one or two, or a tiny section of them that is going to be a major, customer in the future and bring you a lot of revenue. Then you don't have to waste a lot of resources on the other ones. You just focus on that particular customer. Then also, you want to be able to position your goods for best sales and things like that. So all this is actually possible with the help of data science in business. And these are some of the major success stories that we have out there. We have the Amazon. It's not news again that Amazon even tries, sometimes even knows you more than you know yourself. And how are they able to do that? So every time you go shopping there, they're able to take note of your purchases, the kind of purchases you make. Then you rate them, they take note of that, and then what other customers that are similar to you that they are buying, and then they use that to be able to recommend and make some inferences, and then you just happen to want to buy whatever they are proposing to you. Let's look at Nissan Motors, for example. So for Nissan Motors, for example, they are able to, from request forms from their customers and all that, they're able to analyze data, gotten from that using the data analytics platform, and then they're able to use that to customize whatever products that they are bringing for a particular region. So it's not a matter of just introducing it and hoping that everything will go on well. No, they already know what that region, the preferences as per automobiles for that particular region, and that's what they're going to bring to you. So you probably won't have a choice but to do business with them. So data science in Nigeria, let's bring it home. If you're still thinking that data science is not really popular in Nigeria, they're not using it, you might be wrong, because even though it's still at the infant stage, and we have a statistics here that says that this is actually from Olumide Olayinka, that's one of the partners and lead data analytics in KPMG Nigeria. So they carried out a research, and these are some of the results that they were able to get from their research. That's 56% of organizations still based their decision making on intuition rather than data. Well, we can see that that's higher than 50%. But that also tells us that about 44%, for example, they're already making their decisions based on data analytics. And so one good thing about that is that even though it's 56, that means that's the 56% that is not making their decisions on data inferences. They are going to be looking at doing that in the future. So that's a potential. And that also shows that there is also direct, businesses are also already looking in that direction. Then they also discovered that only 4 out of 10 Nigerian organizations are interested in using AI. Okay, same thing. If that is the case, that means that 6 are not interested, so you can start seeing a potential in that market. And if 4, okay, are interested, that means we already have some that are on board. So this data science, artificial intelligence has already come to stay in Nigeria, and this is the time that you want to actually use that opportunity to position yourself to be able to maximize that particular situation. Now, let's continue. Okay, we have here that 46% of organizations have no data science professional. So what are we saying? There are organizations out there that are looking for you once you are able to build up the skills and you are able to prepare yourself as a data analyst. And of course, there are budgets in that direction of analytics in most organizations. Another thing I would like to bring our attention to here before I leave this slide is the skills shortage. Okay, so as much as organizations are looking into that direction, we can see here that there are skills shortage, and this skills shortage is across all domains. If you look at this particular graph here, you will see that out of the organizations that are out of the skills that is in demand in organizations, we have about 46%. That happens to be the highest, data scientists. So there is need for data scientists out there. The business analyst is like, the smallest. It's like, that means that we have, a lot of business analysts out there, but there is need to start, building skills to include data analytics skills, visualizations, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to continue. So with that, it's obvious that data science is transforming the future, no doubt about it. It will change everything around us. It will change how societies are going to develop. It will change how business are going to be, progressing. That's moving forward. It will change a lot of things. And any business that is not ready to jump on the train of using analysis to make future decisions, is probably going to be left behind. And then it will change the kind of roles and jobs that people are going to be taking on. I'm going to be speaking a little bit more about that, as we go on. And then if you're going to be competitive as an organization, the truth is that you need to start thinking in terms of making your decisions based on data science. And of course, it's going to be changing careers. Like I said, I'll say something about that later on. So who is a data scientist? A data scientist, is it wears a lot of hats. Actually, you should be able to marry maths, algorithm, experimental design, engineering jobs, communication and management skills together. And to be honest, anyone can be a data scientist. Every domain needs a data scientist. That's the truth. So every domain needs data science. And because of that, anyone can actually improve upon his or herself, irrespective of wherever you are, to be a data scientist. And I have good news for the feminine folks in the house. It's feminine friendly. So, and I'll still say a little bit more about that along the way. So let's continue. So what's the demand for a data scientist? I just want to make these foundations so that by the time we get to how to actually build the career, you will know that the rigor involved in building the career is actually worth it. So what's the demand for a data scientist? What's the value? Can we see some things about it? In LinkedIn, for example, it was said that from 2012 to 2017, the demand for data science roles actually grew by 650%. 650. Then, of course, Forbes magazine termed it as the sexiest job of the 21st century. So what's the value for data scientists? At World Economic Forum that was held around 2017, this is the statistics that that it came up with. If you look at this now, you will see that out of ranking jobs according to importance and how it's being demanded and value and all that, you can see that a data scientist tops that chart, and you can see the value of a data scientist. So another thing that is interesting here, actually, another thing that is interesting here, actually, like I said, you can send your questions, we'll respond to it when we get to the question time. I've been seeing some questions. So another thing that is interesting here actually is the work-life balance rating. So this statistics was not just taken, just to find out how much a data scientist earn, the value and things like that, or whether it's the most important job. It was actually, taking vis-a-vis work-life balancing. So we are saying that even though the value of a data scientist is high, the work-life balancing is also high. So people they're able to juggle, their life outside the analytics job together with the analytics job, and then they don't have much, challenges. So that's one very interesting thing about data scientists, and that's also collaborates what I said earlier, that is kind of feminine friendly. So let's continue. The value of a data scientist, let's bring it home. Let's bring it to Nigeria, okay? Well, currently, if you look at this, you might say, oh, this is not much, even though it's still much anyway. But at the same time, you can see that as the value of data analytics, kind of increases and people see potentials in this data analytics, we will see that the payment or the remuneration, because this is just an average, okay, will continue to increase. So we are looking at, for a diploma certificate, you have like 237,000 naira, and up to master's degree for 37,000 naira, which is still a lot anyway, but depends on how much is much for you. So, but the value will keep increasing as the value of data analytics, in Nigeria keeps increasing. So I'm going to continue. So there is need for data scientists, no doubt about that. This is also, 2019 poll, Datanami, okay, for checking skills shortage. And we can see that on top there is data analytics, big data analytics, artificial intelligence. Those are the top skill shortage that we're having currently in the world, or in Nigeria as it were. So having said so much, about the value of a data scientist, why you should be interested in data science, and why you're not making a mistake for being interested in data science, there are challenges. So I believe that is all right if we talk about the challenges here, so that you know what to prepare for. Okay, it's demanding, that's the truth. You have to read a lot. It's challenging, it's ever evolving, it's dynamic. Okay, so you just have to keep learning every day. And sometimes it might take you outside your comfort zone. We're going to be talking about that just in a minute. And that's particularly because you have to bring in a lot of domain knowledge, okay? But all the same, it's doable. And people are doing it, and people are making sense from it. And then, well, let nobody lie to you. The truth is that you might need some basic knowledge in mathematics or statistics. So let's now go to building the successful data science career. So we'll talk about the data science generally, and then we'll now zero it down to business. So what is success? Let's start from that. We want to build a successful data science career. I think it's very important for us to say what is success, because the truth is that your journey in your career might be different from my journey in my career, and success might mean different things to different people. For example, success for some people is graduating from college, getting a good job, raising a family, making sure that your children becomes successful in life, and so on and so forth. And then some people, it's about money, buying the jets, Some people, it's about influence, how many people they're able to influence, okay? And the list goes on and on. But the most important thing is that you need to be able to define your purpose, what will make you fulfilled, and then you can start describing success like that. So what I needed to make this clear is that sometimes somebody will look at someone and say, and he thinks he's successful. He might be successful depending on what he has, defined as success for himself. And then he keeps working towards that. Then a very good definition of success that I like actually says that success is progressive, okay? Progressive realization of a predetermined worthwhile personal goal. So that's still saying that, yeah, you don't look at somebody and say it's not successful, maybe because you feel doesn't have a lot of money. It depends on what is the person's goal. Now that we're clear on what exactly success is, I would like to talk about the data science skills that can help us to have a successful career as we intended to do. Let's look at these are typical right here. Like I said, I'll be using my mouse a lot. These are typical, skills that is needed by data scientists, machine learning. You need to have some statistical background and so on and so forth. So, but the good thing is that if we'll still talk about that later, about how to actually go about it strategically. So if the best question actually to ask yourself when you are thinking of a data science career is, which major am I most interested in? Which major, is interesting to me? Everybody might not want to do computer science. But if you see these statistics, for example, I'll come to that major just in a minute. If you see these statistics, for example, this statistics was taken from students that are actually, in college, training as data scientists and all that. And you can see that the majors that they had before enlisting for the data science course ranges from mathematics, engineering, computer science, natural sciences. And when I say natural sciences, I'm talking about maybe biology and chemistry and all those kind of agric and so on and so forth. Then we have the social sciences, maybe sociology and all those kind of majors. Then we have economics. Then we have business. And then we have operations. We even have medicine there, medical science. And they have enlisted for a data science, course. So the training. So the issue now is that wherever you are, you just, wherever you are, whatever major that you have, studied, you can decide to now see how data science will add value to that major. So that's one way to go about it. So that's by way of skills. Now let's look at these skills. This is gotten from O'Reilly, and we can always check that out. So data science skills. So this skill classification, we have about 4 types of data scientists, as it were. So we can, box data scientists into these 4 types of categories. The first one is a data business person. I'm going to pick them one by one, and I'm going to try and describe the skills that is actually necessary for each one. So the idea is, right now, what you're supposed to be thinking about is, out of these categories, which one am I actually interested in, and which one do I want to tailor my career development, path towards, and what do I need to be able to be successful as any of these type of data scientists. We have the data business person. Okay, so for a data business person, is focused on the organization and how data projects bring profit and solve business problems. So they are more like the business analysts, the visualizers, and so on and so forth. So for them, if you look at the skills they need to be versed in business product development, business issues. Then they do need machine learning too, and big data analytics. So you can see the proportion that they need right now. Then they need a little bit of mathematics, and then just a little tiny bit of programming, but the knowledge is good. We'll talk about why that is later. And then statistics. They also need some knowledge of statistics. That's a data business person. Let's look at the second category. That's the data creative. So for those kind of data scientists, what do? They tackle the bolts and nuts of analytics process. They combine algorithms, framework, tools to make informed decision. They do advanced analytics. They build tools, actually, analytics tools. They put it there at the back of your software so that the analytics will be able to be easy, and you can do it without having to go through the analytics tools and so on and so forth. So those are the data creative. So let's look at their skills, what they need. Okay, for their skills, you will see that, of course, they need a little knowledge about, some knowledge about the business and development, but they need a lot of knowledge in the machine learning and operation research, area, big data analytics. They also need some knowledge in optimization. They need programming knowledge. You can see that the programming box and the machine learning box is they are quite big there. Then, of course, knowledge of statistics. So those are the skills that they need. Now let's talk about the data developer. That is the third category. For the data developers, who are they? They are the technical problem solvers. They manage the data back end, for example, the data warehouse, and so on and so forth. So for them, of course, they need some knowledge about the business domain and, of course, machine learning. Then they have they need to have optimization, mathematical skills, and programming. You can see programming and machine learning is almost the fattest skills required there. And then, of course, they need some knowledge of statistics. So now let's talk about the last type of data scientist. We have the data researcher. Okay, for the data researcher, they are research-oriented users. Okay, they are research-oriented data scientists. It might be in the industry, it might be in the academia, but they are data researchers, and their own job is to contribute to knowledge, okay, to push the frontiers of knowledge and discover new, innovative things, novel things. So those are the data researchers. And you can see that the fattest of the skills there is the statistics. So, and then we have followed by the mathematics, and then, of course, they need machine learning and so on and so forth. So that's by way of the skills that is required. So if you want to be a successful data scientist, you need to know which one of these are you planning to be, and then what will be necessary for you to build your skills upon. Then let's look at another wonderful classification here by Career Karma. It has both soft and hard skills required by data scientists. For the soft skills, we are looking at critical thinking, problem solving, communication, teamwork. And then for the hard skills, they're the ones that we have been talking about, saying that statistics, machine learning, and so on and so forth. So we'll continue. So building this career that we are talking about depends on where you are right now. So where you are right now will determine your course of action. So let's take it one after the other. I'm going to be looking at 3 different categories. Let's talk about students. For example, if you're a student, even though in recent times we now have courses that is tailored towards data science, that you can pick, in the university and study and all that, but it's not a prerequisite to become a data scientist, and that's the truth. And that's why we said anybody can be a data scientist. So it's not a prerequisite. Okay, so but what you have to do, like we said earlier, is whatever you have studied, you can see the applications of data science and the relevance of data science for it. So if you are thinking of data science and business, for example, irrespective of the major that you have taken or the course that you have taken, all you have to do is, we're going to talk about learning platforms later. So all you have to do is look for the learning platform and strategically pick courses to help you with improving your data science for business skills. So then the next thing is if, for example, you have picked a major and you are intending to pick a major, and you want to go into the university, and the particular major that you are picking might not be data science related, all you have to do is pick electives that is data science related or IT related as it were, and then you are good to go. So let's talk about the second category. Those are the graduates, okay? If, for example, you're already a graduate and then you're thinking about building a successful career in data science, okay? Now, the decision is in 3 stages. As a graduate, you want to decide whether you want to go to the academia, you want to go into the industry, or you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be your own boss, you want to go into consulting. So let's just take them one by one and just speak to them. So for example, Well, the decision about which one of these three you are going to be picking will be determined by your passion. So your passion that will help you to make that decision. So let's talk about the academia. Well, for the academia, there's no two ways about it. You have to do your master's, your PhD, write publications, and then keep contributing to knowledge and become a professor. But if you're going to the industry, okay, so for the industry, you have you also have to make another decision. Let's call that a sub decision. Okay, what kind of industry are you planning to target? Is it a startup industry, or is it a corporate already established, industry? So let's talk about them one by one. For the startup, for example, if you're going to be a data scientist in a startup business, you're going to be doing a lot of things, and that's the truth. You're going to be doing proposals, budgeting, data cleansing, analytics. You're going to be wearing a lot of hats. But the good thing about that is that there's job security, and before they find somebody like you, it takes them some time. So then for the corporate, that's already established businesses. Okay, we are talking of big giant companies like the MTN, like FCMB, and organizations like that. So if you are planning to enter those kind of organizations as a data scientist, okay, so you are going to be the advantages of that is that there is access to training. You learn from experienced data scientists, and of course the salary is good and all that. So those are the options that you want to consider, but we are going to talk about that a little bit into detail later. Okay, so and then the third one is the entrepreneur. You want to be your own boss. Okay, you want to do some consulting, data science consulting, and so on and so forth. So there are no two ways about that. You need a lot of hard work, be persistent, and you have to be strategic in pitching your proposals, because the truth is that there are some organizations that you pitch to, and it might be the last pitch because you might be discouraged by their feedback. So you need a lot of motivation in that respect. So we'll still say one or two things about that later. So then the final classification, that's for professionals. So let's assume that you've passed the stage of the graduate situation, and right now you're already a professional, you're already working somewhere, maybe in a particular organization, and you're doing, and you're worried that this is not a data science thing, but you want to look into having a data science career. Okay, so it's not also too late. Like we said earlier, what you have to do, every business needs data analytics, and that's the truth. So what you have to do now is look for how to provide data analytics relevance that can move that particular business forward. And then you sign up for trainings and train yourself, and then you can apply those skills to that current profession that you are in. So another advice here is that you keep learning. Okay, you have to be ready to learn new concepts, get outside your comfort zone, and build for the future. Very important. So let's talk about, we're still on building the career, but let's talk about the learning platforms. We have talked so much about, these are the skills that you need, this is what you need to do, and so on and so forth. So how do you get these skills? Okay, those are the learning platforms. These are some of the learning platforms. There are so many out there, These are some of the popular ones, and these are some of the ones that I also learned from anyway. So some of them are free, some of them you have to pay, but they are very good platforms and to learn from. Okay, we also have one that is closer home. That's Data Science Data Science Nigeria. Sorry. So Data Science Nigeria is also a platform that you can learn from. They have a lot of nice, wonderful programs. They have online resources which I personally benefited from too. So they have a lot of materials on YouTube and so on and so forth. And then we also have our own, okay, datascienceniger.com. For us, our own focus actually is how to improve your business, any kind of business, using data analytics. And that's what we actually focus on. Sometimes we have short trainings and talks like we're having right now, and maybe most of our short trainings, maybe like 3 to 6 hours, sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2 days. Sometimes it's free, sometimes you might have to pay a very small amount, but like the one we're having now is actually free. And then for our platforms, we major mainly on using R. Okay, we use R a lot to teach to take the trainings. And then we also have non-programming platforms that we use to teach, maybe like RapidMiner, Gephi, Tableau, and the list goes on and on. Okay, so now and there are many more. That's the truth. There are many more, online. They even offer free. So you are just at a vantage position. Everybody is interested in data science, so there are a lot of free courses out there that you can be able to maximize. But one very important thing that I'm going to say is there is information overload. Okay, so as much as there are plenty, you might just keep doing a lot and not be master of none. So you need to, when you're picking these courses, you need to be strategic about it. You need to first of all define what is your purpose. Okay, vis-a-vis what we have been talking about earlier, and then what's your own personal purpose in life. So that's what will determine the courses that you're going to be picking from these platforms. So that they are floating any free course does not mean that, oh, I'm there. No, you have to first of all check it out. Does it actually align to where you are going? I want to be, my own is not data science for business. Maybe my own is data science in the medical domain, data science in law. We have it, data science applicable in almost every aspect of life. So you want to look at those courses that are tailored in that direction, not just picking anyone. And let's talk about the tools now. Let's talk about the tools. So for data analytics, data science, as it were, we have a lot of tools that we can use to be able to build our models and analytics solution and so on and so forth. Some of them are programming based, like some of the ones that I put on this other side, and then some of them are drag and drop, the one that we call drag and drop, and they are not particularly programming based. And some of them are the both. For example, Power BI, you have the drag and drop, then you also have access to R there, and then you can do whatever you want to do. So these are some of the programming analytics platforms that we might want to check out. But I also like to sound a note of caution here too, that as much as some of them are free, some of them are not. So, and that's the reason for the caution anyway. You also have to be strategic in selecting these platforms for learning. So if, for example, you're going for a training and the training is going to be using maybe a particular platform, you need to find out, or a particular tool that I have listed here, you need to find out whether that tool will be available, whether it's open source, whether it's free, whether you can have access to it after the training, because that's what will determine if you are able to continue to build capacity after the training. Because some of the learning platforms like the Coursera and all that, they might actually have license for you to learn using those tools, but it will only last for the period of the training or some months after. But after that, you are on your own. So what happens? How do you now continue to improve and develop capacity? So that's why you have to be strategic about selecting this platform. Availability is key. So, but if you really can afford it, you can afford the license, no problem. You can decide to go for anyone. So, data science career in business. Like we said, we have talked about data science career generally and how to build the skills. We need to bring it home because that's actually our focus for this talk. So the data science career in business. So we said it's business analytics. So what are the skills? You can see that we have a lot of things here that a business data scientist should be should get himself prepared for and learn and so on and so forth. But the good thing about it, like we always say, is that you don't have to be a master in any of this before you can proceed, with your career or start doing stuff and start, changing things and providing solutions in business analytics. So these, let me just speak to one or two of them. Problem solving, communication, okay, consulting skills, very important. If you have done all the back-end work, all the analytics work, all the dirty work, and you don't know how to present it in a very beautiful, interesting, and actionable way, you probably might not achieve much as a business data scientist. So also, when we talk about data science in business, business analytics and all that, we can also box them into about three corners, even though they are interrelated. You have the industrial, you want to go into the industry, you want to go and work and earn a lot of money. Or you might want to be an entrepreneur, consulting and research. So the same thing that applies to the major data science field is also what is applying in the business analytics data science field. So let's look at the industry. So just like we said earlier, you must You must be able to build your skills beyond your current work, and of course, build multidisciplinary capacity. So these are some of the personalities of the data scientists that we have in industries. Some of them are data preparer. What they do mostly is just to query data and prepare it for analysis. And trust me, that is a lot of work, in any environment anyway, whether outside the country or in the country, but particularly even in situations whereby data is still an issue. So sometimes some experienced data scientists tell you that they might spend months, sometimes going to a year, preparing the data for analysis, because they know that if it's not properly prepared, they might have issues. So that's, some people, that's what they might majorly be doing. And that's also a very interesting thing, because as much as you have learned all the modeling skills and you are ready to enter the industry and start solving problems for them, you might find out that by the time you are employed, all you are going to be doing is preparing data. So, but you just have to keep at it and don't give up, and then things will get better. Then data shaper. So what they do is that they prepare data for analysis, but they add some machine learning techniques. We have the platform builder. Those ones create, softwares. Those ones create softwares for platform softwares so that data can be collected. And we have the data evangelists. Okay, they engage with others, educate others on data quality. This is also a very important, personality, a data science personality, because the truth is that you need to do a lot of education. There are some people, they will ask them to enter the data and they will enter rubbish. They don't know the value of the rubbish, the problem that the rubbish they're entering is going to cost, and things like that. So data integrity issues, those are the ones that they call them data evangelists. Then we also have the insight actor. Okay, those ones are the people that represent, that very good with presentation skills. They present results to whoever is interested, and so on and so forth. And then we have the data analyzer. Those are the core data analysts, and so on and so forth. So those are some of the personalities. So the reason why we are saying this actually is that you might want to see which one, like we are saying, passion. Which one are you comfortable with, and which one do you want to, start looking in the direction of. Okay, so basically we can be able to summarize the skills of a business analyst, in this respect: domain knowledge, visualization, data governance, engineering, management and curation, that's preparing the data, then analytics and machine learning. So if you are like towards the data analyst, you'll be doing much of visualization and applying analytical approaches. Then if you are the data engineer, you'll be doing much of data governance, engineering, management, curation, machine learning. So if you are the data scientist, you must have a robust knowledge in all this: domain knowledge, visualization, data governance, and so on. So you must at least be robust in all these aspects. So now we are done with you wanting to work as data scientist in an organization. Let's talk about consulting. Okay, if what you want to do is, you want to look into consulting, be an entrepreneur, well, you define your market. Prior to the research, these are some of the tips as a data science consultant. You want to define your market, then you want to do a prior research before you promise heaven and earth, okay, that you can deliver this using data analytics solution. You need to be able to do a prior research to know what problem they have, and then what is the level of their data readiness, how ready is their data for analytics, and then what current solutions do they have on ground, so you know how to come in. And then, of course, presentation skills is very apt. There's a training that we have sometimes in September, okay, that is actually, it's a free training anyway. So it's titled Data Science for Business Consulting in Nigeria. So if you are the kind of person that are interested in this, you might want to avail yourself of the opportunity. So consulting. So data science for as a business analytics consultant, you have to have broad mastery of business domain. Then you are okay with just knowing the drag and drop. For example, the training we had last week, we used the drag and drop tool. That's RapidMiner. Then you have basic understanding of statistics and know everything about a particular area that you want to solve the problem for, that you are consulting for. So you don't want to get there and they'll ask you a question and then it's just you are lost. You don't know what to say. Then master communicating data in numbers and visuals. It's a skill that you need as a data business analytics consultant. So then, of course, you have to attend conferences, be familiar with use cases, read, and then conferences. Yeah, conferences you should be able to participate in so that you know what exactly is going on out there and participate in learning opportunities. So I have another good way. For example, if you're just starting up as a consultant, we have this website that you can check out, okay, upwork.com. So it's as a data scientist, depending on how prepared you are, you can enlist yourself, and then people can visit the place, and you can be contacted and all that to do jobs for them. So that's a very good starting point, and then you just see how it goes. So for the third category, we also have the research aspect of, if you are looking into data science, yes, data science for business. So for the research aspect, we have you have to be good, even though you're applying data science to business, you have to be good in mathematics, you have to be able to work with domain experts, some programming skills, learn some statistical skills, machine learning, communication, like we said, and of course, as a researcher, you must be able to publish, whether it's journals or conferences. Okay, so, and anyway, a little bit of advice here, as someone that has been in research for a long time. So some of the advice is that if you're thinking of research, the research aspect of data science in business, you have to, your research, your research proposals, your research implementations and all that, the research you carry out should be futuristic. You should learn to provide futuristic solutions, okay, to problems and all that. And of course, your problems should come from the industry or the society. For example, currently in Nigeria now, we have people that are already on board the data thing. They're already making budgets for getting data in the organization, but we still have the dirty data problem. Okay, so sometimes as a consultant, sometimes we get to the company and we have so much to do for them, but their data is still very dirty, in the sense that it's not even in the state of analytics. So if you are a researcher, for example, you want to look at how to get solutions to that kind of problem, then you might be saying something, and then a lot of interest will be in your work, and then be going somewhere. So we are gradually moving close to the end. So I would like to share some of the lessons that I learned as a research data scientist, and I'll also share some lessons from foreign data scientists and all that. For me, these are some, well, not just as a data scientist anyway, some of the lessons that I learned in my career. For example, during my BSc and MSc, there are some of the lessons that I learned was that because it's still in the present, digital transformation, globalization, demography, and all that, they are changing a lot of things. They are changing the way job is going to be available, the kind of job that is going to be available. And of course, they're even going to make some jobs to disappear in the next 15 to 20 years. So the reason why we're now bringing this to the fore is that there is need for you to prepare yourself and keep learning, lifelong learning. You don't just finish a degree and you're good to go, and all I want to do is just use it to work. No, even while you're working, you still have to be learning. And someone said that even though there's a threat that jobs are going to be disappearing in the future, but there will not be shortage of jobs actually, but rather shortage of skills to fill the job. So we are in a very good place. If you can master the skill, that means your job will never disappear. So that's the lesson that I learned there. And also the lesson I learned while taking the PhD. If you notice that for me, the PhD took almost like 6 years, which is probably not supposed to be that long, maybe 3 years. But what made it to be that, and what are the lessons that I can learn from there, is that first of all, if you are thinking of doing a PhD, you need to know, first of all, select the area that you want to work with, and then you need to actually check out whoever you're going to be working with as a supervisor, check the profile, see how he has been able, first of all, see his research area, see whether he's actually contributing to that field, and see how he has been able to turn out students so that you're not just be stuck there forever. Now, the lessons I learned during lecturing, mentoring, I've had the opportunity to mentor students at the BSc, MSc, at the PhD level. So the lesson that I learned, okay, is that most times students usually have problem when they pick a trending course. Like we have been talking a lot about data science and everybody just wants to get on board. So it's not about picking a trending course or the course that your parents want, but it's about interest. You can pick any course and now see if you're still interested in data science and now see how data science can help that course, okay? Those are the lessons that I learned there. Also, the lesson I learned as per research public when I was doing my publications and then, consulting, trainings and all that is that, of course, you need to publish as an academics, and it's not just about the numbers. You have to be focused and you have to contribute to knowledge. You have to be current to be correct. So you might be saying something, but if you're not current, it might not be, totally true. So, and of course, research cannot just stay in journals or conference papers. You need to solve societal problems. That's why a lot of academics don't have money, because they don't have the ability to solve the problems in the society. If your research can solve problems in the society, you are on your way, to making the economic advantage that you want. So now, these are some of my research works. For example, I have these are some of journals, these are some of conferences. Then, as a data scientist, whether it's in business or not, you want to be able to profile current solutions. There is this one actually that I would like to speak to was my PhD work, improving customer relationship management through integration of heterogeneous data. So this time around, we're not even just mining the structured data, that's the one in the database, rows and columns. We want to mine the unstructured data, maybe all those your text on social media, and then we want to bring it together to be able to, for businesses to be able to make informed decision based on that. And that was presented at the conference in China. I also have one that I presented at a conference in San Francisco, semantic text mining using domain ontology. So these are just some of my works. For me, success is the feeling of fulfillment coming from how many people you have affected positively, both spiritually and educationally. And of course, it's not a bad idea to have money. So let's look at some lessons from great data scientists that's out there. This is Dean Abbott. Who is this guy? This guy is the co-founder and chief data scientist of Smart H2, Abbott Analytics. And he's also the author of Applied Predictive Analytics Principles and Techniques, and also the co-author of IBM SPSS Modeler Cookbook. So this guy, when he was interviewed, was asked some questions, and this was the response that he gave. The first question, I selected some actually, if you check their website, I selected some so that quite aligns with what we are talking about. The first question is, what's the one thing you wish people knew about your job? And he said he needed them to know that it's not primarily about mathematics and statistics. So for those people that are saying, oh, I don't know maths, I don't know stats, I don't want to go into data scientists, you might be wrong. And then of course, though knowing maths and statistics is helpful, okay, but it's not, that's not all that there is about data science. Okay, so, and then he also said that most of his time is spent creatively thinking about models and what those models can do to organizations, how they can actually solve organizational problems. Let's look at another question that he was asked. If you could go back in time, what is the one thing you would like to tell yourself as a new data scientist? So this is an advice to us, those of us that are just coming up, for example. So it says, get a job where you can apply data science and apply the techniques to real world problems for several years. Real world problems, okay, for several years. So it's not enough to just use those problems that you have as examples in your text and all that. You need to look at real world, real life problems, local problems in your area and see how you want to maximize that. Then the last question for this guy was, what's a personality trait you think people need to succeed at your job? That's as a data scientist. First one he said was intellectual curiosity. Okay, then he also said to look at a solution and wonder why the model behaves the way it does. Okay, so you don't just swallow it, eat line and sinker. You have developed a model, you have evaluated it, the accuracy is okay, just like we did last week. It's not enough to say the accuracy is 70, 75, 90%. You need to actually find out why is it behaving like that, so that in case it's giving you some false, high accuracy, you're able to actually, find out that and you don't jump into conclusions. Okay, so and also he said discover something about the business process that no one ever knew before, and that's what's going to make somebody want to listen to you. If all your analytics results that you're presenting is something that is not, that is not new, that is not novel, big deal. Why do we have to go through all those analytics just to be able to discover this? But when nobody has heard it before, then they want to sit down and listen to you. And then, of course, the final thing he said is that the part of data science that is harder to teach and is the most potential is this one that we just talked about. Coming out with something, and it's the most valuable to business actually, coming out with something new that nobody has heard before. Okay, let's see another person. We have here Pali Agraval. Okay, Agraval. This particular. So for this particular person, who is this guy? Okay, it's Director of Data Science, Lewy. So the popular Lewy, that's the jeans, the denim jeans, that the popular brand. You'll be surprised that this is fashion and data science is also being used, at the back end there to make decisions. No wonder everybody wants to wear their products. It's not just ordinary. Some things have happened at the back end. So this is Director of their data science. So they asked him some questions that if he believes that there are 5 principles or the mindset of a data scientist.
Alpha, eyes work.
So he believes that there are 5 principles, that a data scientist should have. That's the mindset that he should have. They say, what are they? So I'm just going to mention them briefly and then we can continue. He said, first of all, they need to develop actionable insights and improve decision quality. Practice healthy skepticism. I talked about that also when I was mentioning the previous data scientist. Then define the business problem and in quantifiable terms. Then fulfill user needs and also be able to communicate and collaborate. So these are the advice that this Pali was giving new data scientists, or anybody that is thinking of data science. So we'll just make progress. So we are gradually getting to the end. So as a form of conclusion, I would like to say that it takes time. That's just the truth. It takes time. It amazes me when some people want to come for our trainings and they say, okay, they just want to do data science, they just want to learn it quickly, and then in the next 1 month, they want to start, practice and all that. As much as that is possible, you still have to know that it takes time to be able to master some of these techniques and be able to do it efficiently. So the question is how good you want to become is going to be determined by how much time you have been able to invest. And it takes dedication and commitment. And you have to be adaptable and be determined. Learning and relearning. I've been some years, maybe almost 14 years and above in the field of data science, and I'm still learning. And if you ask most data scientists, they will tell you that they are still learning. So you keep learning. It doesn't mean you have to finish learning before you start applying. But even as you're applying, you have to keep learning. And of course, you have to be kind to yourself. Okay? So even if you fail, just pick it up again and then learn and then, continue. And of course, you should not give up. It might not be easy when you're just starting. Maybe they're talking about a lot of mathematics and algorithms and all that. You just keep at it and gradually you'll be a master of it. I like to leave us with this quote by Brian Tracy. It says, There is no limit to what you can achieve with your life, except the limits you accept in your mind. So that you're not, familiar with some of the skills that we have talked about just now does not mean you should give up. You can actually do it. And depending on how determined you are going to be able to succeed at it. But I'd like to acknowledge some resources, online resources, videos from Data Science Nigeria and Ladies AI Meetup. That's also by Data Science Nigeria. So I learned a lot from them while preparing for this training. So these are some of our social media handles. You can like us, follow us, and of course, we'd like to hear from you most importantly. So you can drop us comments so that we know how to improve upon our trainings. Thank you very much. So it's time for us to ask some of our questions. I saw a question earlier. So this is the time that we can ask and then we can react to it. Please just send the question in form of a chat and then I'll respond to it. So for the first question, the question says, please, do you offer certificate of attendance or participation in this event? This is a free training. For our free trainings, we don't have certificates, but for the paid trainings, we have certificates. And that's what we're trying to say earlier in the introduction, that we have certificates. But before you collect the certificates, there's a form of assessment. So if you pick, maybe you pick courses that are in the category of predictive analytics, maybe you pick like 5 of them and you have taken them, then we can organize the assessment so that we'll be able to award you the certificate. Then another question here says, do you have some examples of some organizations in Nigeria that recruit business analysts? Like I said earlier, almost every organizations now are looking for business analysts. That's data science, a business specialist. That's the truth. So depending on their level. So if you want examples, all you have to do is go online and look for companies that are actually recruiting currently. But like I said, you need to arrange yourself to be able to be recruitable for them, because they are not just going to take you by way of certificate. They are going to have to, do a thorough interview and analysis for them to know whether you can solve their problems. Okay, so any other question? Okay. If I'm not having any question, okay, I think I have a question. It says, okay, yeah, I'm having questions. It says, I'm interested in biological data analysis. Would you advise I put in much effort to learn Python? Yes, you're on the right path. I tell you the truth. So like I was saying when I was talking about the platforms, that some platforms, depending on the kind of problems that you want to solve. So if you're interested in biological data analytics, bioinformatics, and all those kind of analysis, Python is very good. I was not able to speak so much about some of those platforms. For example, in Python, you have a lot of libraries. You have a lot of machine learning libraries, biological libraries. You have libraries because it's open source. So you have people keep updating the library. So learning Python is already in the right direction. R also very, very good for biological data analysis. So that's about that. Then I have another question here. Good morning, everyone. Okay, many thanks to the instructor and this opportunity. Does your organization offer trainings with certifications? Yes, I said that we actually offer trainings with certificate, but those ones, the way we do our trainings with certificates is this. If you go to our website, that's datascienceniger.com/webinar, you see some of the courses, they have been grouped. We have predictive analytics, we have descriptive analytics, then we have network analysis, and so on and so forth. So if you want to collect the certificate, just make sure that the trainings you attend the trainings and you apply for the certificate. So when you apply for the certificate, there is an assessment. Okay, so we'll pick a day, depending on when it's convenient for you or and us. We'll pick a date for the certificate. So we have some questions just to be sure that you took part in the training and you understand whatever we have taught before you start awarding you the certificate. So you take a small assessment and then we can award you the certificate. Yes. Then we also have here that, are there opportunities for internship? Okay, opportunities for internship. When that comes up, we'll let you know. But we can also, we have a group on Telegram. So if you're interested in joining that group, for example, and you're not there yet, you can just put your Telegram or your number or your WhatsApp number on the chat. We'll send you an invite. So the idea behind that group is that whenever opportunities come, we'll just post it there. Anybody that is interested, and also if you are solving some of the trainings that we take, you are solving the problems on your own and you are having issues, then we'll post the solutions there. We have been having interactions on that platform. Okay, for those that have joined. Then we have a question here that says, what are the drawbacks of predictive data analytics on a lighter mode? Okay, is there a difference between a data science and a data scientist and a data analyst? We always get this question. So the drawbacks of there's nothing that is good that doesn't have disadvantage anyway. So some of the drawbacks that I would say that exist for predictive data analytics, not too much, but we have a few. You can have situations whereby you have you act on false positive results. What I mean by that is that maybe you have evaluated the model, for example, and it's giving you a very high accuracy, and you say, because of that, I want to go to town, and you just go and recommend it. If you don't take your time to see, how exactly that particular model is implemented in real life and it brings about results, they might want to act on it and it might be an issue. So what are we saying there is that before you recommend that to the stakeholders or whoever has given you the job to do, you want to be sure that that model is actually, you have checked it both left, right, and center. People are always in a hurry. That's the challenge, to just go and implement. You have to be sure that you have checked it both left, right, and center using all the evaluation possible before you can make conclusion on that. Then difference between data scientists and data analysts. Usually, sometimes they are used interchangeably, but a data scientist definitely, together with the mathematics, together with the statistics, should be able to include machine learning techniques. But sometimes data analysts, they just do the mathematics and the statistics. So those are the little difference that I can say exist. So so we'll add you to the group. Then I want to see whether, do you need to learn both Python and R? Oh, okay. So somebody is asking that you need to learn both Python and R. The truth is that we always advise, because I also lecture and all that, computer science student. We always advise that rather than learning so many languages, pick one. Make sure that you know that one from the alpha to the omega. But before you pick, make sure it's a language that is very suitable for what you want to do. So back to the question, if you are good with Python, almost all the things that that R can do, Python can do. So you can stay with Python. But if, for example, you now find out that there are some libraries that are not available in Python, you might also want to look in the direction of R. But as far as I know, most of the things that we can do, most of the libraries that are available in Python, because I use both actually, are also available in R. Okay. So, we still have how much fees for the courses. Like we said, our courses, like the one I was advertising, that's been advertised for, that's the descriptive analytics. So they're just short courses. It depends. Like the descriptive analytics one, the 2 days one, that's 6 hours. It's just 3,000 naira. So if it's 3 hours, it's usually 1,500. Because those are short courses. But if you now want a bigger dish, okay, you want everything together, we have that one in R. That one takes about 30 hours. Okay, so that's like a week, 6 hours in a day. So that's for the more bigger ones. So those ones might be maybe like 30,000 or so on and so forth. But you depending on what you want, because that one is mainly in R. Okay, so from the beginning to the, but it's still on business analytics. But like we said, our focus is business analytics. If you want maybe AI-based courses and those ones that have a larger scope, you may want to visit some of the other learning platforms that I talked about. So many things. All right, I think we should start rounding up our questions. Okay, can you explain the differences between the types of analytics again? Okay, I might not want to repeat that, but what I can tell you is that I'm going to send the video to you. So, and I'm going to also upload it on YouTube. So you might just want to watch it again and get whatever you need to get out of that. Telegram group. Okay, so thank you very much. If I don't have any other question, I think I might want to sign out from here. It has been nice having you around. Thank you very much. Goodbye to everyone. Okay, thank you too. You're welcome. Goodbye. So see you next week. Hopefully, we have another one on that's staff analytics. Yes, I appreciate you too. Thank you. Staff analytics, people analytics using Gephi. Bye bye. Thank you.